Inzalo yelanga, which means the birthplace of the sun. Now, from the aerial shot of this place, you can see that this place is a circle. Actually, this circle, phakathi circle, iya lapha phakathi kulamatshe ayithula. Now, firstly, what you see, that tree, the rock that is broken into two, is our southern marker. Then straight down here, I'll take it down there, it's our eastern marker.
Okay.
Then under this tree here, it's our northern marker. There was this rock, that rock was taken out from this calendar in 1992 by the forestry company, and they didn't know the significance of baluleka kwalo. They just saw this upright standing rock, and for some weird reason they took it out. It used to stand here as well, which is also our western marker, and we also term that rock, it's either a stone man or a stone woman, because of the way this rock is carved.
Oh, okay.
Now, going back to the rocks themselves, this is what we call dolerite. Whereas the rocks that you see on the edge of the cliff are black reef quartzite, which is the bedrock of Kapsewop. So basically, geologically speaking, was Kapsewop is sitting on a black reef quartzite, which makes this foreign to this area, or this dolerite foreign to this area. And we started scouting for a natural dolerite page as to where this might have been taken out from. We found it 1.5 kilometers outside of the reserve. So we assumed that whoever built the structures harvested the rocks from there, and he brought them here, and then started carving shapes like the stone man to build this. And dolerite is the third hardest rock after diamond and granite. You get diamond, get granite, then you get the dolerite. Now, there's a difference between a dolerite and a dolomite. Johannesburg, the bedrock of Johannesburg, it's a dolomite. It's very soft. This is a volcanic rock. It has to come kilometers deep. Whereas dolomite is some sort of a sedimentary rock. You can peel it off. It's easy to grind. It's easy to break. But this is its hardest. So we're still wondering as to how they actually managed to move them. But it's sound that they might have used, levitating stuff, sound and resonance that might have been used to move these rocks. So
sound and resonance.
And resonance, because everything has got its vibrating frequency.
Okay.
It's a matter of tapping into the frequency that resonates with you. And dolerite is magnetic. If you break this rock into half, you find these small shiny metals inside, which is called silica. And silica is the main ingredient when you are making a glass.
Yeah.
So it's not a miracle when you see an opera singer breaking a glass using sound. It's that it actually, the opera singer might have reached the resonating sound of that particular glass and took it a notch up, and then the
glass breaks.
Break.
Oh, wow.
It's not a miracle. We have seen that as well. So this is an untapped pure silica. It's never been to any laboratory, so it's very low, it's high. Some years back I've been to Phalaborwa. We were doing this refresher course for birding tours just near this biggest stadium there. So I saw these trucks full of dolerite and what's this other, and quartz, this little. And I asked them, where are they taking these quartz? Because normally around Phalaborwa, the mines there are manganese, not any other thing. They said they are going to take these rocks, melt it into a certain degree where it actually becomes liquid. They make silicon chips, the very same silicon chips you put on a computer to store data. They are coming from a rock. And even Amawash, sometimes they use these quartz to store information. So you can basically store information in rocks. You go to anybody's grave, it's always piled with rocks. You go there, talk to their ancestors, and your things goes well. The information is stored there. Jesus' tomb was a rock.
Yeah.
Go there and pray. So rock can store information far much better than any other machine. So coming back here, if you look from that rocks over there,
Yeah.
there's a line of rocks. It's like a circle over there. There's a line of rocks going around, touch under that tree. That's the southern marker. Going around, eastern marker, northern marker. So you basically have got your 4 cardinal points. But if you stand here and start from there, coming straight this way, looks like it's another row, which could be an inner circle. And then you kind of get the third circle in here. So there's an old African Sangoma or Sanosi by the name of Credo Mutwa.
Yeah, I know
Baba
him.
Credo Mutwa was initiated right here in 1936 at the age of 16 years as a young shaman. He doesn't call this area Adam's Calender. He calls it Inzalo Yelanga, which is the Zulu name for this area.
Yeah.
Probably Tsonga people have got another name for the site. Sutu people, Bedi people, and stuff. With African cultures, we give our sacred places our own names. So a Zulu name is Inzalo Yelanga, and then probably Jengoba. And the information is still out there, even if it's not written, it's oral. Because most of the shamans or the sangomas never just talk about anything to anybody. They keep it as a secret. That's why the information is still out there. The little that we can take out is what we share, but there's a lot of things that were happening here that we still need to dig out and find out. It's a matter of getting the right people who actually knows about this place. Now, as an African people, the ancient Abantu people,
Yes.
before any religion, before any Christianity, any Hinduism, any whatever, these people will worship things like the moon, the stars, and the sun. Now to them, directions will mean different things. Firstly, north to them will mean north as in the direction, but it also represented up the sky where our creators came from.
Yeah.
Then south will mean south as in the direction, also down where our ancestors are. That's why if we talk to our ancestors, we face down and talk to them, but if we pray, we look up. Then east, that's where our sun always rises up, where our gods comes up to look after us. That's why it is in the direction. And west, you never bury an African people in but to the west. Mostly if we are Matunen, ilitshe liba ngapha ku western side la kushona khona ilanga, so that should you rise up, if kukhona ukuvuka, your face will be looking directly into the east to the gods. That's what the direction means to them. And if you uzoba initiated, or you're going to be initiated around the year, your initiation has to be on the northern side. That's why we've got those rocks, which we think it must have been the place of initiation where people, I will take you through there. But before you even reach that area, you will have crossed 3 important lines. Now, if I'm similar, I'll show you the lines. I'll say from yesterday, probably until over Christmas, from the 21st of December to almost the 23rd, 25th of December. If you were to stand here like before sunset today or yesterday, the sun will have risen from the east and it will have set right between that rock with a small tree and that one. That's the longest day of the year. Our summer solstice, 21st of December. That's the longest day of the year, right between there.
Oh, so it would, the sunset would be right.
Yes, if you look
there.
at the sunset standing here, it
would go between those two.
Yeah, between those two. That's the longest day of the year.
The big rock and the
And that smaller rock right between there. That's the longest day of the year. But if you are standing here on the 22nd or 21st and 22nd of September, which is the equal length of day and night, our spring equinox, the sun again rises from that side and it sits right behind where the stone man or the stone woman was, right behind this pointy rock over here.
behind this pointy rock.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's the equal length of day and night. But standing here on the 21st of June, which is the shortest day of the year, the sun will rise again from this side and it will sit right between these two rocks over here.
These two big rocks.
These two big rocks over here. That's the shortest day of the year. And even by the look of the eye, standing here, this is the shortest distance from here to here, representing the shortest day of the year.
Okay.
And that's the longest.
The longest distance.
The longest day of the year. And every time the sun goes down, the shadow of this rock is placed in this rock in front, as you can see now. This shadow is the shadow of this rock.
Yes.
It started at the bottom here, and it will climb all the way up and probably move all the way to that side. As the seasons changes, then the movement of the shadow also changes. That's why it's called a calendar. Whoever was using this calendar back then will mark or will write something as to when the shadow falls this way. We actually doing this kind of ceremony or this kind of ritual. Or either we start planting, we start harvesting, and we start. That's why we sometimes call it a sundial or a calendar. The word Adam's calendar itself is derived from, we all know that Adam is the first person.
Yes.
And this is where he used to get his worksheet as to what actually must I do when the shadow falls this. Because he never knew seasons. He has to be taught somehow that if the shadow goes this far, you start doing this and this and this. That's why we've taken the name Adams and the calendar and then we mixed it up to the word Adam's calendar.
So this shadow, please explain the shadow, what it means, if it covers
the whole
rock
that's
or
what we
part
still
of the
need
rock.
to figure out, because we don't know actually what exactly happened here. As I said earlier, that we still need to get some people who might have had the knowledge. Probably they might have carved something that's peeled off, that eroded off, because the way this rock erodes, it erodes in only two ways, which is the water and sand erosion. That will get this rock rough and bumpy like this.
Okay.
As it drains, the soil actually bumps against it, it erodes the rock. But it also flakes off, or it peels off like onion peels. As you can see, this will, as the years goes by, peel off. So that's how basically it erodes. So they might have had some features that peeled off here, that got erased during the erosion of the rock. That's how actually we think that there must have been some carve. Because if you go to places like Stonehenge in England, you find this lot of grooves or like grooves around, or representing something. Maybe one groove would represent 10 or so years. So we think this must have been the same situation.
Okay.
But this is way older than the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. This is way older than the Stonehenge in England. Because if you go to Egypt, they will tell you maybe they are like what, 3,000 or 4,000 or 6,000
Yeah,
years.
about 6,000, yeah.
And you go to Stonehenge in England, they say 9 or so.
Yeah.
Which is, okay, I'm not against the Egyptians or the Egyptologists, which is not entirely correct. Let's take, for instance, Stonehenge in England. Not the new Stonehenge where it is now, the older Stonehenge. You can't directly put an age to a rock without any good information. We are not sure how old Adam's calendar is. We are thinking 75 to 150,000 years. Based on what? You get to a dolerite, it's a slow eroding rock. You have to rely on the erosion rate of that rock. You can't carbon date a rock.
No, you can't carbon date a rock.
You can't carbon date a rock.
Okay.
You have to get at least a crack of any rock. Like there's a crack there, you piece the crack together, you measure the erosion gap, you find out how slowly the erosion rate of that rock. If you know those things, you will be able to tell how long ago did this crack happen, not the entire rock, did the crack happen. Then you can put extra thousands of years of the rock while it was still intact. The more rounder the edges of the crack, the older the crack is. The sharper the edges, the newer the crack.
Yeah,
So
that makes
that's
sense.
how you can possibly get closer into dating an ancient site with rocks, not with carbon dating.
Yeah.
The stuff that you see like covering this rock is what we call lichen. Lichen only grows 1 millimeter per year in good condition. And this is layer upon layer of dead and alive lichen. You are not going to be able to scrape the layers and count the lichen to carbon date a rock. So you have to rely on the erosion rate of that rock.
So, okay, according to your observation,
Yes.
from January to December, we're in summer now.
Yeah.
What have you noticed in terms of the position of the shadow in winter? This shadow here now in winter.
Yes,
will
what
it-
I've
or
noticed
what it
now, the sun goes more that way. The shadow, the tip here, as the sun goes, this actually tip started here,
Yeah.
and it climbed, and it actually expanded this way, and the other hand it expands that way. But more in winter, the shadow starts from the other side at the bottom, doing the same.
Or from the other side.
From the other side, the sun goes more this way, and the shadow is casted more from this side to this side.
Or in winter.
And now it's
The
summer,
sunset
started from this
towards
side,
that towards
and it's
it
going that side
around this time.
around this time of the year. Yes.
Ah.
Now, as I said, we on our way back, we're quickly gonna stop on that. There's something that I need to show you, which is also actually goes with Adam's calendar. Also, we hope it's a stone altar where people will do ceremonies and rituals on that area before coming to here. We believe that there's an ancient king that is buried there, and people were actually doing some ceremonies. There are still living stuff over there. That is actually one of the important things. And this thing called a golden mean spiral, I don't know whether you know, which is a sacred geometry. Now, a golden mean spiral works with the ratio. Like, for instance, a sacred geometry. If you can take a circle this big, like your lens, you can only put 6 other circles of the same size around this, and this will be the 7th one, and still have got space to maneuver. That's how the ancient people will actually build their structures using the sacred geometry. They never used squares.
Yeah.
And
Like the
it's rock on
stone
top
circles
of a
and-
rock. That also goes in hand, which is what it said. God created earth in 6 days.